Hi, I'm Maria Ingold. I'm a CTO in video technology, and I'm here at Connected Media IP at the NAB Show 2019. Joining me is Chip Canter. He's the Chief Revenue Officer for Massive. And welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So how are you finding the NAB Show this year?
It's great. Look, it continues to, for us, be a great place, obviously, to meet all our clients and see other technologies that are progressing in the industry. But also OTT, where we play in the middle of OTT. This is now we're no longer in kind of phase one. We're now there are a lot of mature OTT operations, and so that's where we actually, I think, our platform and product line really excel when we're talking to whether it be broadcasters or mobile operators or pay TV, operators or global SVODs, because we're no longer in the build phase. We're now in the run phase where the KPIs are really different. It's the KPIs are now customer acquisition, churn reduction, re-engagement, driving time spent, moving people from AVOD to SVOD to other tiers of SVOD. So it's great to see at the show kind of how the entire industry is now kind of much more mature, and that's, as a new, and we're solving those problems for them.
Well, speaking of being mature, you've been delivering user experiences for over 22 years now. So given that, what do you think are the big trends? What are you seeing?
Yeah, and I think one thing there's probably three trends that we're seeing, and one thing I would add to that is, at Massive, we provide both the multi-screen app development capabilities, plus a platform to run on that same theme we were talking about before, to really run and manage your OTT applications and make real-time changes to the entire application, not just a recommendation engine of a rail, more like this, but really total reconfigurations of the experience based on data, based on CRM data, analytics, your behavior, your OVP, your billing. So all of these pieces, either programmatically or editorially. And so when we think about the trends, I think the first one is OTT operators, whether it's a pay TV all the way down to an SVOD, are now for really starting to use data to drive decisioning and the experience. And I think before it was just a recommendation engine, and now it is about how do we move people throughout the day based on what they're using, their billing and CRM and other analytics, to actually really drive differentiation and personalization. So that's a huge trend. I think the second is this, we're seeing kind of bundling, this kind of reemergence of something that happened a long time ago of telcos and mobile operators, and in the face of app stores coming from Apple and Roku and Google and Amazon, really looking at bundling services, video services and OTT with broadband access is a big trend. And the third one, I think it's happening globally, the power of the new Android TV specifically, but also these low-cost, very powerful OTT sticks, especially in Latin America and Asia. They're the new set-top box, if you will, and they're incredibly powerful, and they're now enabling much more robust OTT services on lower cost platforms. So those would be the three trends that kind of we're seeing at the show.
Interesting. Okay, so Massive was recently acquired by Delta Tray. What does that mean for both of you?
Yeah, so first let me say what Delta Tray does. So Delta Tray's been around 30 years, really in the sports business, and customers like UEFA and FIFA and NFL and MLB all are very and really focused on kind of especially live video, multi-screen OTT services like Discovery's Golf TV, World Cup, Olympics, deep into the broadcast. So everything from pitch all the way to the field or court or pitch, all the way to the OTT playout. And with the acquisition for us, who's very deep in user experience, product around user experience, and focused on sports with customers like DAZN and Worldwide Wrestling, but also a broader set of entertainment and pay TV customers. So the combination really allows us to combine these companies and product lines to take that live expertise that from Delta Tray into our entertainment and telco and MVPD customers, and take our deep experience and product line in user experience into sports. And so it's a really natural combination, probably anchored around OTT, but affects the larger kind of video, especially live video experience.
That sounds good. You have all your entertainment, they have the sports, you've come together. It sounds like a good,
yeah, and we're
happy-
both global, and so it's actually combining, we now have, 20 some offices around the world. We're 1,000 people. So it's really scaling both organizations, but combining those two pieces. Now we can go into multiple verticals with the combined portfolio.
That's great. So one of the areas that you've been doing for a while is mobile UX. What do you think the trends are for mobile operators in the coming future?
Yeah, so I think ironically it's actually not just mobile video.
Okay.
So I think the big trends, as I mentioned a little earlier, I think there's two big ones. The first is bundling. I think as mobile operators launch 5G and look to really push unlimited data plans and then the combination of those two things, it is really going to be about combining other services, the first of which is going to be video. So how do you layer on video with your 5G service, or video with your kind of unlimited data plans? And that could be bundling a pay TV service that's part of that mobile operator already, or like AT&T, or it could be pulling together existing SVODs or pay TV services and kind of bringing those to life in those platforms. I think that's one big trend. I think the second trend is actually multi-screen. And I think mobile operators, especially in a 5G world, are going to be looking beyond just mobile video, even though that's incredibly powerful. And but I think the idea is that they're going to be lighting those experiences up on 10-foot or big screen TVs in the home. And that's a lot of what Massive is actually doing for these players. And I think the third trend is, I mentioned before, and you're seeing at the show, is the use of the proliferation of the kind of lower cost, very powerful sticks, especially Android,
Yes.
becomes a new set-top box. So imagine you come in to get your 5G service or your unlimited data plan, and the operator's providing you with a stick. You can come home and pop in and now light up these incredibly powerful OTT services, all part of that broadband access, both mobile and kind of more, within the home environment. And so that's actually, it's beyond just mobility, even though mobility is continuing, especially in certain markets, APAC and LATAM. But even a customer like Telecine, one of our customers, which is a film SVOD service in Brazil, one would have naturally thought they'd be, entirely focused on mobility. But actually, as we lit up the 10-foot experiences, their usage jumped 75% almost overnight. And so, 10-foot is still, multi-screen is still very powerful. It's not taking away from mobile or mobile-only subscriptions, which you're starting to see. But the introduction of 5G, the introduction of bigger broadband, and telcos that own that relationship, they want to own that relationship, not just video to the mobile phone.
Those are
And
some
so we see
interesting
very
insights.
powerful.
Yeah, that's good. Very interesting. Thank you so much for joining us this year at Connected
Thank
Media
you for
IP.
having me. I appreciate
And
it.
I would look forward to seeing you next year to find out more about all your predictions and where things really are going.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.